61 people have been indicted in Georgia in connection with violent protests that at times devolved into riots, all in opposition to a proposed police and firefighting facility outside Atlanta that has come to be known as Cop City to its critics. Because, you know, groups calling for police reform apparently don't want a facility aimed at, making cops better trained. The indictments of more than 6 defendants, who are referred to as militant anarchists in the 100-page-plus document, utilizes the state's racketeering laws, traditionally reserved to target organized crime and which have been in the news lately, also used against Donald Trump and his allies in their effort to overturn the election. It was brought by Georgia's Attorney General Chris Carr, who will join us in a moment. Back in March, rioters ambushed a group of officers on guard outside of the facility, which is still under construction, throwing Molotov cocktails, rocks, and fireworks, and even hitting one of the officers. You see one of the fireworks landing and exploding inches from one officer who was trying to close the gate. The so-called protesters actually went and changed into black clothing before launching the attack, which sure seems to show some premeditation, before setting several construction vehicles on fire.
This was a very violent attack that occurred this evening, very violent attack. This wasn't about a public safety training center. This was about anarchy, and this was about the attempt to destabilize.
Those who oppose the $90 million training center claim it adds to the supposed militarization of police. But according to the Atlanta Police Foundation website, a nonprofit helping to fund police initiatives like this facility, the Public Training Facility Center will reimagine law enforcement training and police, fire, rescue, community engagement. I mean, that sounds like you would think it's a, one of these defund the police things, but it's not. A video posted on the website shows details like a 12-acre emergency vehicle operations course, a mock city for real-world training, burn towers for fire training, a shooting range, and other features.
Protest is raising your voice. Protest is standing on the courthouse lawn, the city hall lawn, on every sidewalk. And so it doesn't take a rocket scientist or an attorney to tell you that breaking windows and setting fires is not protest. That is terrorism.
All 61 defendants have been charged with violation of the racketeering law, but several, actually more than several, also facing separate charges of domestic terrorism, attempted arson in the first degree, and money laundering. The state alleges the defendants are members of an anti-police anarchist, anti-business organization called Defend the Atlanta Forest, quote, conspiring together to prevent the construction of the Atlanta Public Safety Training Center by conducting, coordinating, and organizing acts of violence, intimidation, and property destruction. Joining us now is the Attorney General for the state of Georgia, Chris Carr, whose office just indicted the 61. Mr. Attorney General, thank you very much for coming on the program. Appreciate it. All right, so be specific here. What exactly are these folks accused of doing? Because it couldn't have been all 61, right, who were throwing the Molotov cocktails, et cetera.
Yeah, well, thanks, Dan, for having me on, first and foremost. But they're accused of trying to stop the building of this training center through occupying the land that the training center is on and also using violence. I mean, the clip that you just showed was a great example of just one specific case where these individuals overran police, overran the facility through Molotov cocktails and rocks and bottles at police. But that's just one example. And what we've done is we've shown 225 acts just in the indictment of how these individuals have tried to use violence to stop the building of a facility that you just showed is going to be a state-of-the-art, best-in-class facility to train not just law enforcement, but first responders and firefighters.
Yeah, this protest, I've been very critical of the protesters with regard to this, because I do think the idea of having a facility to train police officers is exactly what many of the anti-police folks have been asking for years now. Let me read you. This is something from a very well-followed Twitter person named Joshua P. Hill. The logic of this RICO case suggests you could be indicted in the future if you're an abolitionist, donate to a bail fund, buy food for unhoused people, think we should protect the environment, believe we should protect people over profits, or support anyone who does. It's basically saying that this indictment is including a lot of people who weren't involved in the violence. Your response?
I think it's absurd. This is about acts of violence, either committing them yourself or supporting those who were committing acts of violence. Look, we all have a First Amendment right to peacefully protest. But protesters use words. Violence is not speech. Violence is not protected by the First Amendment. This entire indictment, when you look at it, is about those that engaged in violence, those that supported those who were engaged in violence, those that were attempting to occupy the land where this training center is going to be. So to suggest otherwise is absolutely absurd.
Again, and this comes from, I guess it's an anonymous Cop City Vote Coalition statement. Chris Carr may try to use his prosecutors in power to build his gubernatorial campaign and silence free speech, but his threats will not silence our commitment to standing up for our future, our community, and our city. How tough a case do you think this is going to be?
Look, I feel very good about our case. And again, this is about going after those who have engaged in violence.
Yep.
You know, Dan, the bottom line is this. We're not going to look the other way when violence occurs in our state. We're not Portland, and we're not Seattle. We're going to hold those accountable that actually do that. There was a blueprint in Seattle and Portland that folks used, some that may have used this as kind of a model. That's not who we are. We uphold the rule of law. If you want to peacefully protest, and that's happened all over the city, state, and the nation, Dan. People have protested, certainly haven't been arrested. I'll defend your right to do it. I may disagree with it, use my own First Amendment right to say why you're wrong. But this is about those that engage in acts of violence, and it's not going to be tolerated.
It does.
And this indictment shows that.
It does seem to me that some like to selectively choose when they want violent protesters to be prosecuted and when they don't, which is a sort of bizarre concept. And I'm with you broadly on the idea that engage in violence. I've always said throw the book at a lot of these folks because there has to be. I actually think the deterrent impact will work in this kind of case where it may not, for example, in a murder case. I do think there can be a real deterrent effect on violent protesters when you say, hey, guys, you want to do this? You want to throw the Molotov cocktails? You want to break windows? There's going to be consequences for doing it. Attorney General Carr, thanks so much for coming on the program. Really appreciate it.
Thank you. Appreciate it.
Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your cable provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.